Hi, welcome to Math Beast Tutoring, now on YouTube. Hi, thanks for being here. This will be part 3 of my 3-part series of math manipulatives for every grade level, manipulatives and tools. This will be the last one. This is where I'll talk about all the tools and things that I think are super helpful for grades high school, and then of course through college and any adults that are studying as well. Now, of course, as older students, we want to continue practicing our basic arithmetic and doing things in our head. The more we do that, the better we'll get, and even at our level, we can use some practice. I myself, as an expert, practice basic arithmetic every day. Just helps me keep quick and sharp and more strong in my moving forward with my studies, as well as with, of course, the dice as well. Older students don't really want to use the big fuzzy foamy ones, so we stick with the standard little guy like that. And so those are I like to use for practicing arithmetic, basic functions, and of course positive and negative numbers, just to kind of build up speed and keep our brains warmed up and running for the concepts and larger, more challenging formulas and tools that we are using and learning about in our higher grade levels. Now, speaking of formulas and things like that, I always like to recommend students get a notebook, write everything down. Whether you're doing online school or you're learning from a professor, you're learning from Khan Academy or any of those things, write things down. I cannot stress enough how important and how useful it is to keep all your notes and all your things in one spot. Now, if you remember that formula, it's a formula you already know, have it written down. If you already have it written down in your notebook, don't write it again. Go back, know that it's there, and this is something you keep with you, you keep at your desk. So as you are going through higher and higher concepts, you're learning things, you can always refer back to your formula book, your notebook. Have the formula written nice and clear, nice and big, maybe 1 or 2 examples on how to apply it, and I promise this will be very, very helpful for high school, college, and even adult students who are working on anything that they need. I highly recommend just having a plain old notebook. This composition book was 50 cents. You can go to those back to school sales, get a bunch. When you fill up one, start another. Math formulas. Formula book is highly helpful. Alright, that's enough of that. My next tool, if you have started using in 7th and 8th grade the TI-30, I talked about this calculator earlier, and you're feeling comfortable with this and nothing has called for a graphing calculator, use this. This does almost everything that you need in higher levels. The only thing this does not do is graph. Now, there are a couple different options for graphing calculator. If you want to stick with the calculator route, then the next calculator you get is the TI-83. This one right here. This one does graphs. It will calculate. It's still scientific, still has sine, cosine, and tangent. It will switch between radian mode and degree mode. I don't know that this one does that. It probably does. You don't have to go any higher than this level if you don't want to. You can go up to the 84. The only difference between the 83 and the 84 is the 84 is shaped a little bit differently and has a little bit more formulas that you can program into it and built in. But this TI-83, you could take this clear up through college if you want to. If you want to be extra, you want to be intense, you go up to the 89. So if you would like to move up to the 89, you can. Just know that you don't have to. And you can go clear up as far as you want with the 84. Okay, now that being said, remember for graphing, you don't actually need a calculator at all. If you want, if you have a laptop, even your phone, go to Desmos.com and you have this amazing graphing tool. Now, even though I have all these calculators, for graphing purposes, I specifically like to use Desmos instead. I go to it on my laptop screen, I go to it using my iPad, even on my phone sometimes, because you have the option of going colors, you can reduce, get rid of some of them, make it so they don't show, change the color, etc. over here. And you can also save your graphs. If you were to sign in, it's free to sign in, and you can save your graphs on here as well, print them, share them, etc. The only reason why I would recommend having a graphing calculator is if you're going to standardize tests. Now again, back to this 84. This is acceptable. This is the highest level calculator, I believe, that's accepted in SAT, ACT, and the exit exam, I believe. This 89 is not. You cannot use this calculator for any standardized tests, but you can use this one. And so tune in into another video where I'll be reviewing and kind of explaining how to use these calculators, as well as a bunch of programs that you can input into the calculator. A lot of tests say they do not allow additional programs into the calculator, but they also provide formulas and things like that. And then the last thing I suggest, actually it's not the last thing, but another thing I suggest is having graph paper. Now, you can print graph paper if you want. You go to my website, mathbeasttutoring.com, and you can get free printable graph paper. I like this one. It has larger, this one is good for markers. It has larger squares as well as X and Y axis input. Or if you want, you can get the smaller one for bigger, larger graphs, where you can create your own, put your own axes, use it in any orientation that you like. And this one is available as well, all free, printable. And if you are using a whiteboard and you put these into a plastic sleeve, ooh, there's a big glare. But if you use it in a plastic sleeve, then you can use a fine point whiteboard marker to draw your graphs. And then you have it as reusable, and you can use it as often as you like. But for homework assignments where they want you to draw out graphs by hand, I highly recommend using graph paper rather than trying to just ruler and measure it out. Graphs just work out better when you have it on graph paper. All right, now we're on to the last thing. Last thing I recommend, and this really doesn't have much to do with math. I recommend that you create for yourself, for your high school student, for yourself, a study schedule. Just a printable week where you plan out the places that you're going to study, and I promise you, if you stick to your schedule, you will get so much more studying done than you would expect. I like to use Google Calendar for my studies. Lots of people like to do this printable. You print one out every single week, put it in a place that you're going to look at often, put it in your phone. Map out your day, map out your week, especially for college students. College students, you have a lot more time on your hands now than you did when you were in high school. Make a schedule. Make a schedule, stick to it, plan out the times that you are going to study for each class that you are taking currently, and I promise, come test time, you will be much better prepared than all of your friends who just pulled all-nighters. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, etc. I will see you next time. In the meantime, stay safe, stay inside, I guess. Get your exercise, get your sleep, don't eat too much. Remember, you're probably not hungry. You're just bored. and use this extra time to learn a new skill, take time with your family, and make the best of it. See ya!